So the South Caucasus region is more important for the global and regional actors because of its strategic geolocation. The South Caucasus region gives an access to the Black Sea at the same time and the Caspian Sea at the same time, which means that you are at the crossroads of the East and West. And given that importance of the geolocation of the region, for many years, especially after the Soviet Union just collapsed in the 90s, many untraditional or let's say relatively new actors like the European Union or the United States try to make inroads into the region by using its very vast resources, including energy resources, including its other influential factors such as using the territory of the region to reach out to Central Asia and China was a further priority to contain, let's say, the possible expansion of China toward the west, to the borders of west, which are vital interests for the region. So, in terms of inter-regional cooperation, in the 90s, the region has went through a very tumultuous period of conflict, which as a result, the region was plagued by endless border and internal conflicts, including such as the conflict in Georgia, conflict in Azerbaijan, between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and with some minor border clashes between countries like, let's say, Azerbaijan and Iran for the same period of time. So, but starting from the 2000s, when the region entered into a period of relatively stability, so they became a good opportunity for inter-regional cooperation, to boost inter-regional cooperation. In that sense, Azerbaijan, let's say, initiated with Georgia, alongside with Georgia, initiated several regional infrastructure projects, let's say Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline or Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway connection, starting that Azerbaijan gained an access to the Black Sea through Georgia, while Georgia became a transit hub for Azerbaijan's energy flow, fossil fuels, and transit hub for deliveries of goods through its territory to Turkey and then to the Eastern Europe region. So, but coming to the recent years, the recent years also witnessed quite a new tumultuous period in terms of regional security, in terms of border security, and in terms of narrative of the local governments, how they perceive the regional threats, or how they perceive the national threat to their national interest. So, in this term, we can name that the Ukraine conflict. When this Russian invasion of Ukraine began, it kind of significantly shifted the traditional geopolitical balance of power in the post-Soviet region. For example, before the Ukraine war, the general Western academia, the scholarship, perceived Russia as being the most influential regional actor in the post-Soviet region due to its the number of armed forces, some economic abilities, and being an energy monopolizer of the European Union. As well as Russia perceived those regions as its geopolitical backyard, especially Caucasus and Central Asia, while China maintained gradually a low profile in those regions in order not to challenge Russia, because Russia and China, being considered as a strategic allies, they deliberately avoid to challenge themselves in different regions, and therefore it was safe for China to stick with mostly geo-economic interests rather than geopolitical interests in Central Asia and in the Caucasus region. However, considering the geographical proximity of Central Asia to China, China has been able to develop significant economic tools to affect or to bump up its soft power strategy in Central Asian region, which made Russia to watch it cautiously, and honestly speaking, that there was nothing for Russia to do much to contain Chinese expansion, because in terms of economy, Chinese and Russian economies cannot be comparable, given also China's a huge experience in conducting a very complex network of infrastructure projects, given its highway connections, railway connections, or energy pipelines, or giving, let's say, financial loans to those countries which are interested in boosting Chinese presence in their own region by using infrastructure projects. So, for example, the Ukraine conflict paved, or let's say opened the horizons for China to make a new inroads into the Caucasus as well, because they're pretty much big distance between Caucasus and China, and China has never been directly involved in the Caucasus region for many years. But the Ukraine crisis opened horizons, because it's kind of weakened Russia. Russia's fossil fuels flow to Europe ceased immediately, which became a cause for the European Union to start countering Russia's monopoly on energy and starting looking for alternative reliable energy exporters, being it Norway, or being it Azerbaijan, or being it let's say Kazakhstan, because and although there's still significant gap between in terms of geography, there's a gap between the West and Central Asia. China tries to infiltrate the region by using different pretexts, and in that sense, the newly proposed middle corridor, or Trans-Caspian international transit route, is the most viable option for China to start looking for more and more opportunities to gain a economic footprint in the region. So, as you may already know, the proposed Trans-Caspian international transit route is stretched from China, crossing the Central Asia, mainly Kazakhstan, and through Caspian Sea, reaching Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, and then to the southern and eastern part of Europe, which means it's a mega project, and this project is already not fully, but it's still partly functioning, and in accordance to the recently available data, between 2022 and 2023, the total good deliveries through the middle corridor reached 1.5 million tons annually, which is quite a significant number, even though it's expected to grow significantly in the coming 3 or 4 years, because it mostly depends on the technical capabilities of the participating countries to receiving a huge amount of goods from China, and China itself is interested in partnering with the countries which have its own infrastructure capabilities and prepared network of infrastructure, let's say seaports, railway connections, highways, that are able to carry on those huge amount of goods through this route. So in that sense, the attractiveness of the middle corridor will grow dramatically we should expect it to grow dramatically in the next 2 years, because the European Union is also, or the Western countries are also interested in this project and are ready to invest and boost the role of this project. And in that sense, we should expect a flow of additional investments from some Western countries, and because already some Western companies, logistic companies, are participating in this project. They are delivering their goods. They're making a trade and signing new partnership, new agreements with some regional states, including China and Azerbaijan and Georgia. So in that sense, the South Caucasus region is really significantly important, both for the West and China. And in the coming years, the current geopolitical balance of power, because of the Ukraine war and so forth, will open more space for China to make inroads in the region and boost its own interest in the region.